So, you want to know how to make an AI controller class with line of sight functionality? Let me show you how. So, you go into your level, and I'm using the third person starter level, and then create a blueprint class of type AI controller. Then, after you give it a nice name, create a variable and make it of type target point. On the event tick node, we want the AI to move to the last seen point. So hook it up to the last seen actor by getting move to actor. Now, if we ran this now, we would get an error because the target point doesn't exist yet in the scene. And we don't want to just drop it in because there may be a point where you want the target point to be destroyed, or you want to leave it empty for now. So to account for this, we'll set up a branch and say if target point actor is valid, then we'll continue as normal. And if it's false, spawn one and set that to the last scene. All is valid does is checks to see if that actor is a physical thing in the scene. To spawn a new point, grab the node spawn actor from class and select target point from the class dropdown. Then get the transform from the player, and this will spawn the point where the player is. Then we want to get that target point that was just spawned and then hook it up and set it to the new last seen location target point. And then we'll throw in another move to actor node so that we can move to the newly spawned target point. And now, once there's a point spawned, the next tick we want it to be where the player is so that the AI essentially follows the player. To do this, we meander on over to the True tab and throw in a Get Last Seen node. We set its position using set actor location and then set it to the player's location. So now let's see how this works with the character model. I'm going to go in and create another blueprint class of type character and call it AI girl. So now I'll open it up and give it a skeletal mesh, and I'll make it the female so that it's the different one from the character I'm controlling. And I'll bump the max walking speed way down so that I'm faster. I'll also set the anim class to third person anim BP. This will give her all the default movement animations like walking and running. And then, under the Pawn tab, I'll set the AI controller class to the one we were just working on. Now, because we are using AI movement, before we go any further, we have to use a nav mesh surface. So I'll go over to volumes and grab a nav mesh bounds volume, and then move that into the level. You want to move it and scale it appropriately so that it covers a large area and intersects with the floor. To see the movable areas, press P, and the movable areas will turn green. Now if we hit play, she'll follow us anywhere we go, which is cool, but we want to add another layer to this and only move to the last seen location if she can see us. So let's go back into that blueprint and make some room between the tick and everything else. We're going to add a line trace by channel node between those, and the start point is going to be the AI's location. To get this, use the get controlled pawn node and get that actor's location. And for the end location, it will be the player's location again, so we can copy that from how we got it before. To be able to see the line it draws, select for one frame under Debug Draw Type. Now, this Boolean output here returns true if it hits something along the way, which will only happen if something is obstructing the AI's line of sight to us. So if we connect that to another branch node, we'll set it so that everything moving that last point will happen if it's false. Because if it's false, nothing is obstructing its vision. If it returns true and can't see the player, then we'll do another move to actor node and set it to the last point without changing its position at all. And then if we compile and save, everything should work. So you see here, we can run away and she'll go to where she last saw us. And if we're hiding behind something, she won't see us. And if I poke my head out, and then she'll angrily walk towards me. And that's all I got. I hope you learned something. Have a great day.